Is the work of a lifetime for everyone. And for Francis, it certainly was the same thing.
For Francis, enlightenment was not to be found inside cloister walls. Outside, in the hills and valleys around Assisi, his real purpose awaited.
And in this area of the valley, he comes upon what's most horrifying to him, and that's a leper.
When he was young, there was a leprosarium, a place where lepers were confined, down below Assisi. If he went within 2 miles of it, that's as close as he would get, and he would hold his nose so that he wouldn't smell the disgusting smell of the lepers.
Leprosy was probably the most feared disease of the time. People didn't know where it came from, how it happened. They knew it was contagious.
The sound of the leper's clacker warned people to stay away or risk contracting this dreadful disease.
Leprosy attacks the extremities of the bones and the cartilage. The face and the nose begin effectively to rot in the living person. It produced a terrifying effect.
Remember, the leper was the ultimate outcast in Christian society. And not only the outcast, but often leprosy was seen as a mark of sin.
People were asked to pray for them. They were taken out to live in their own small little communities, only with other lepers. And for Francis, to go out to them was just unheard of.
The sight of this suffering and the loneliness was simply intolerable to him.
When I was in sin, it seemed too bitter for me to see lepers. But the Lord himself led me among them, and I showed mercy to them.
He was doing something loving and caring for a person who didn't know what it was to have a warm human touch. A person who was used to seeing people run away.
For Francis, lepers were a signal instance of the capacity of the divine to act in his life.
And soon after that, Francis was in the leprosarium, nursing the lepers, washing the pus out of their wounds. And for Francis, this was his test.
He who had been unable to look at leper houses from more than 2 miles away without quickly covering his nose, found himself able to embrace them.
And I think this is the whole secret of Francis of Assisi, that God led him to places which other people reject, and he has found their beauty, he has found their soul.
And when I left, what had seemed bitter to me was turned into sweetness of soul and body.
And without that radical shift in his approach to lepers, he wouldn't be saint, and he would hardly be recognizable to us as Francis of Assisi. This was something around which so much of Francis ultimately pivoted.